Patrick Mahomes is a superstar.
Not only is he going to be great, he may be the greatest.
Who keeps making headlines, like recently being added to Fortnite. However, there are a lot of crazy facts you didn't know about him, like the one time he was robbed at gunpoint. During his rookie year, Patrick Mahomes was involved in a gun robbery in which he almost lost his life before his career even started, and we would have never gotten to experience all the crazy things he's accomplished. Basically, Mahomes and his friends were dropping off his girlfriend after attending a baseball game. And listen to the sheriff go into detail on what took place.
Victim of opportunity.
Smith County Sheriff Larry Smith says Mahomes and 3 friends had just left a baseball game and were getting out of his Tahoe outside a home on Mansion Creek Circle when Michael Pinkerton approached. According to an arrest affidavit, hand in his waistband, Pinkerton told the victims he had a heater and demanded wallet, shoes, and other items. Mahomes and his girlfriend both called 911.
Thankfully, Mahomes survived.
Remember.
And went on to accomplish amazing things, like winning a Super Bowl, being the richest football player in history, which allowed him to buy the craziest sneaker collection in the entire NFL, and also being an owner of another professional sports team. Mahomes is a plain-out superstar, and his level of fame has given him opportunities to meet some of the biggest stars, like the one time he and Post Malone made a bet that caused one of them to get a face tattoo. I'm not kidding. More on that later in the video. $503 million. Imagine making that amount of money in only 10 years. You'd give me a little bit of that, right? No?
Man, that's messed up.
Well, if you're not going to give me a little bit of money, at least drop a follow and a like. Anyways, Mahomes got awarded the biggest contract in NFL history, making $50 million a year. That's more than guys like LeBron, Curry, Tom Brady, and many more athletes. You know, the man went off and splurged on himself with that type of money. He started off by buying a house. Wait. Not a house, a mansion that cost $1.9 million. Of course that came with a garage, which means he can store his dream car, which happened to be a Ferrari 812 Superfast, aka the most powerful, fastest, roadworthy Ferrari ever built. It's simply an adrenaline machine that cost $338,000. And if Mahomes wanted to use all his money on buying just this car, he could have about 1.5 million of them in his garage. That's banana.
That shit is bananas.
Instead, he decided to make some renovations to his house and built a closet just for his 180 pairs of shoes. His shoe collection includes a custom Yeezy shoe made just for Mahomes to a special edition one that's a Game of Thrones Night Watch Adidas shoe. Of course he had a camera built in his closet so that he can watch over and make sure his brother Jackson wouldn't steal any of his shoes. No. Seriously, watch Mahomes talk about how he added a camera to prevent his brother from stealing any of his.
The camera is definitely the most important. I mean, it's showing all the most valuable things in the house. My brother comes and stays with us, and I know he'll try to be in my shoe closet, so I gotta make sure when I have the camera that I can look and make sure all my shoes are still here.
Try me, bitch.
One thing his brother can't steal is his ownership in a professional baseball team. Mahomes is so rich, he was able to afford part ownership in the Kansas City Royals, although the details remain a secret. Life is all good for Mahomes. Best player in his sport, millions of fans, making more money than he can spend. He's living the best life anyone can have with nothing wrong. Or so it seems. With all that fame and success, there's a lot of bad things that come with it too. Like the abuse his family receives from fans. His family has been a part of many controversies, from dancing on a player's grave, throwing water on fans, and even when Mahomes was caught on live camera in front of thousands of fans telling his wife to quit being a bitch. Sean Taylor unfortunately passed away in 2007 while being shot when he was trying to protect his family. To honor him, the Washington Redskins continually show support with memorials and also retiring his number. The game just so happened to be against the Chiefs, which meant Mahomes and his notorious brother were also going to be there. While the Redskins were honoring Sean Taylor, this idiot decided to do a TikTok dance on Sean T's memorial. They should have honored Sean Taylor by knocking this idiot out. Jackson wasn't finished. Another shocking video surfaced when Jackson was seen dumping water on some Ravens fans. What had caused Jackson to take things this far? What could have possibly happened to make him take it all the way to this level? Jackson explained himself in a tweet afterwards and simply said they were thirsty. Patrick Mahomes' brother has been trying to bring bad light and negativity to Patrick's successful life, who is constantly being watched by the entire public with a magnifying glass. Constant controversies stirred up by his brother are bringing nothing good to his life except for bad news and problems. All this constant negative news, drama, and issues caused Patrick Mahomes to simply boil over, and it happened to be against his wife. Also, unfortunately, in attendance to this spectacle, there happened to be millions of people on the internet. One night, the couple were out to a basketball game, and the camera happened to point to the couple in the most perfect time. That brought out every single lip reader who caught Mahomes saying, "We'll talk about it after." And his wife replies, "Okay," to which she then turns to her friend to reveal what caused this. "Patrick told me no more resting," and then she made a weird happy face to maybe please Mahomes. With all this nonsense going on at home, no wonder why he's so good at football, because he's constantly practicing to get better. And during those practices, there's some legendary stories of his rocket arm cannon that he has, which has even caused some injuries to opposing players. When scientists brought Mahomes into a lab to perform some tests, they discovered for themselves how powerful Mahomes' arm actually is. They performed some experiments with Mahomes just to see how fast he throws the ball, which clocked out to an insane, blazing, devastating speed of 62 miles per hour, which means each of Mahomes' passes are lethal, and this of course caused some problems, like all the way back in high school. Patrick Mahomes has a very legendary pregame ritual, the one that brings out many fans in to behold the insane acts of athleticism being displayed. Before every game, Patrick Mahomes makes some warm-up throws that include some fancy behind-the-back passes to him completely launching the ball. The problem arises because in high school, football teams warm up at the same time, and when you have Mahomes throwing rockets, well, you can see what the issue is. So his high school coach would make sure that his quarterbacks came to warm up earlier than everyone else. Problem solved, right? No, because that's when the sorry-ass punter warms up, leaving him in danger of getting dinged by Mahomes' dangerous passes. The coach said this about one instance: "It wasn't intentional. He was warming up, but he's gonna throw into you because he's throwing it as far as he can throw it. And throwing into the opposing team just happened to be collateral damage." The legendary stories of Patrick Mahomes' warm-up don't stop just there, where the stuff he does goes insanely viral and gets millions and millions of views. Patrick Mahomes talks about the time where during one of his warm-ups versus the Cardinals, he threw the ball so far that when he looked up for the ball, it disappeared. This man had thrown the ball out of the stadium. Dude, that's bananas. I feel like most people really don't get how unbelievable this truly is. Understandable though, because it's almost incomprehensible that anyone could ever do something out of this world like that. Out of the stadium? What the heck? God-given talents like this is how he's been able to accomplish so much in so little years, and he's on his way to rewrite history books. All that to his hard work and God-given talent, right? No. Not at all. This is about his darkest secret, an addiction that actually allows him to perform at the highest level. And the entire football world found out about it in one of his biggest games ever. The Chiefs were down in the Super Bowl versus the Niners, all because of a disastrous game by Mahomes. He only had 172 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions during the game. So, when they were headed into the fourth quarter, Patrick Mahomes knew there was only one thing that Mahomes could do to turn things around, and he couldn't resist the urge, and he finally needed to indulge into his addiction. Boy, did it help. He came out firing. With only 7 minutes left, he compiled 114 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the iconic comeback victory, which awarded him the youngest Super Bowl MVP ever. What really went down? What really caused Mahomes to turn it around? The truth is, Patrick Mahomes just had to watch LFA's Boogie. Yeah, even Patrick Mahomes is a fan and follows me. So why don't you, for reals? Patrick Mahomes has a very weird motivator that makes sure he's always playing to the best of his abilities. There's no way you know about this story. Most legends and players want to break records because of the love of the game and to keep rewriting history books. But Mahomes has a different reason, and that's his addiction to ketchup. Yeah, just listen to the weird things he puts ketchup on.
I'm a big ketchup fan. I've always been, a little bit more when I was younger. But I mean, I mean, it is crazy how social media blows things up these days.
Would you like ketchup for life? I mean,
I don't think it's that weird, but I put it on my macaroni and cheese. But people seem to think that's a weird thing. Some people think that's disgusting, but I mean, it's good to me.
Ew, I will list the other things he uses ketchup on, but that'd take way too long. Anyways, what does ketchup have to do with him breaking records? Well, Heinz Ketchup proposed to Patrick Mahomes a lifetime supply of free ketchup only if he breaks a single season record of 57 passing touchdowns. This was Mahomes' response to that offer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. So I mean, if it happens and I get ketchup for life, I'll be sure to share it with some of the offensive linemen.
On the football field, Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Mahomes can virtually do anything, whether it's throwing bombs with radius of ease or leading his team to historic victories. The starter seems like a superhero on the gridiron. Mahomes, however, almost quit football during his youth, according to his mom. The reason? Well, Patrick Mahomes didn't just excel on the football field. His talents carried over to the baseball diamond, and he was just following his dad's footsteps. Scouts salivated over Patrick Mahomes as a baseball player. In fact, he was even drafted by the Detroit Tigers in 2014. Luckily, he stuck to football and went on to being one of the biggest athletes in the world. And he's used some of his perks to meet some of the biggest celebs too. Like the time that the Chiefs were having the Super Bowl parade and Post Malone just so happened to be playing in town. But there was an issue. Mahomes and his teammate Travis Kelce didn't have tickets to the concert. However, they had just won the Super Bowl, so they could still get into the concert, right? They could. Post Malone invited the quarterback to swing by for a quick hello before the show, where Post challenged the two to a friendly game of beer pong. The game was anything but friendly, as Mahomes and Kelce are the most effective quarterback tight end duo in the NFL, and apparently they're capable of doing just as much damage at beer pong. Mahomes described his beer pong game that night as merely good, but he said that Travis Kelce was unconscious. The pair rallied off a lot of wins versus Malone, who got increasingly frustrated and even resorted to trading partners that included Sway Lee. After 9 or 10 games, Post got interrupted by his manager as it was time for the concert to start, but Post Malone waved him off as he badly needed to win at least one game. Finally, around the 14th or 15th game, Post decided he needed to up the stakes. He handed Mahomes and Kelce a piece of paper. Why? Well, he asked them to write down their signatures, and he promised to them that he'd tattoo their autographs onto his body, like permanently, if they were to beat him in one more beer pong game. Post lost. Then out of nowhere, a tattoo artist starts to tattoo the autographs on Post Malone. Man, Patrick Mahomes can't stop winning. From being the richest NFL player, being on Fortnite, winning Super Bowls, and breaking records. He's not even the best player on his own team. You want to find out more about who this is, right? Yes. Click on this video right here then.